What's up, Yankees and Mets universe? Welcome back to a special episode of the Yankees Morning Brew and the Mets Evening Brew, teaming up for this late night Subway Series special. Like always, I'm the guy, Hector. I am joined by a crazy panel today. I got my guy, TC Stills, Big Time Jerry, my brother Ghost, my guy, Damien. I got Eddie Presti, Ant Rivera, and our favorite Theo, Mr. Al Centron. What is good, people? How we doing?
I have a problem.
So do I.
The Yankees brew entrance, and there's no Mets brew.
Exactly. The disrespect.
Evening brew.
It's stuck on
when
Diaz's.
You have a better record. You get
it's stuck on Diaz's mitt. It's stuck on Diaz's mitt.
Okay, you happy, Eddie?
You got that? You happy, Eddie? Al, you good? You good? Ant, you
Yeah,
good?
I'm better. Yeah.
All right. Oh man, Eddie, Al, Ant, how you guys doing? I'll throw it over to you guys first. I know this is your guys' first time with Ghost, with TC and Damien. So Eddie, for the people that don't know who the fuck you are, let them know who Eddie Presti is.
Eddie Presti, if you don't know, now you know. Look, man, I'm a big Mets fan. I'm a big Knicks fan. But tonight we're here to talk baseball, so we're going to keep it to Mets. We have a 15-6 record since May 30th, best in all of baseball, and we are only 2 games under 500, and we are 1 game back. Look at his fucking balloons. We are only 1 game back in the 3rd wild card. So that's what I got to say. We're playing well right now. I'm still not a believer. I'm not a total believer, but I'm getting close. I'm getting close. Close.
Ant Rivera, let the people know who you are, where you from, and if they don't know, now they know. Go ahead, Anthony.
Yeah, Anthony Rivera, aka Subway to Shea from the Subway to Shea podcast. You can catch it on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. And I'm pulling double duty today with you, Hector. We did my podcast earlier today, previewing the Subway series, and you can check that out on YouTube and, like I mentioned, Apple and Spotify.
And tomorrow in the afternoon, myself and Ant Rivera is going to be joining our good friend Dexter Henry with SNY, our people over there, to do a preview Yankees Mets Subway Series. So I'm looking forward to that. And I always love talking baseball with you, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a lot of fun. I enjoyed as well. And Dexter's part of us. He's good people.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, my favorite Theo, my guy Al Centron. Al, if they don't know, now they know. Let them know, brother.
Right now I'm dealing with a stomach issue, so that's why I'm off camera. You can catch me on WFANs usually during the overnights on the weekends, but things are going to change when I come back after the 4th of July. I should be on multiple shows per week, and most of the time all summer long, so let's go.
Yeah.
Shout out to my guy Al. Al, you've been killing it over there on WFAN.
Thank you.
Holding it down. You've been representing for us boys over there on the airway. And now let me toss it over to my Yankee familiar, right? I'm gonna throw it over to my guy Ghost. This is somebody that you guys, if you tune into Yankees Twitter, you know my friend Ghosty. But for those of you that aren't familiar with Ghost Delomio, let them know where you from, baby.
You already know, man. I love helping out the boys over there in Yankees Morning Brew. These guys are amazing. And it's just awesome to be here with you guys talking some ball. It's going to be a great time.
Definitely. Damien, a.k.a. Fast and the Furious. What it do?
Man, I'm still Fast and the Furious, and I'm waiting on a customer right now for the next hour. So I said, I got to leave the crib at 9, make it here by 10, so that way I can wait for this dude to come out at 11. So I'm rocking it with you boys. Let's get it.
Let's go. And of course, the OG of the OGs when it comes to my host with the Yankees Morning Brew. And of course, the OG, capital OG, Big Time Jerry. TC, go ahead, baby.
Yeah, good to be back. You know, I had to take some time off, but good to join you guys on the Evening Brew. And I got my dad visiting from South Carolina. He's out here on the West Coast. So let's do this. Let's talk some Yankees Mets.
Oh, yeah, let's do it. And Eddie, I'm going to throw it over to you so you can lead the conversation. And then afterwards, I'll chime in. But you brought up the Mets record, right? And they, over the past few weeks, over this past month, The New York Mets, they have been one of the better teams in all of Major League Baseball. Over the past week and a half, you could say the Yankees have been one of the worst teams in Major League Baseball. I think 3 wins over their last 10 games. They've lost their last 3 series in a row. Eddie, I'm gonna toss it over to you because you Mets, you guys have a lot of stuff to talk about right now. Say it with your chest. You guys been killing it. Go ahead, bro.
Look, what is there to say? 15-6 since May 30th. That was the Arizona series. It started there, and then we started building momentum. Getting Francisco Alvarez back was huge. Once he came back, this team has been a totally different team. You're seeing, Nimmo come back to life and play well. We're seeing Lindor, kill it right now. And you're seeing JD Martinez just being an absolute beast in the middle of that lineup. And even Alonso's, getting hot. So even the bottom of the lineup is coming through. So this Mets thing is all starting to come together. Let's hope it's for real. That's all I'll say. I hope it's for real. I don't want it to be one of these Mets teases. But look, every year in June, it's usually called the June swoon every single year. But this year it's not. Like that guy said last week in the chat, it's been a June boom, baby. So, look, we're looking good. We got it after the Yankees. We got Houston for 3. And after that, we got 4 at Washington, 4 at Pittsburgh, 3 home to Washington, 3 home to Colorado. That's an easy schedule. So we might be over 500 by the time the All-Star break comes around on July 14th. So I'm looking forward to that. And then the trade deadline, maybe we put a couple players back on this team and we take a run and we go for those motherfucking Atlanta Braves because we got to go for them. All right. I don't want to hear about the wild card. I want to get us over 500 and we got to exercise those ghosts down in Atlanta. So they ain't looking too good this year either. I know they're hot.
No.
I know they're hot right now, but they were playing terrible before this little good streak they're on right now. So that's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping to go and catch the Atlanta Braves.
No, listen, you saying it right because a lot of Met fans on Mets Twitter over the past 2 weeks, they've been talking a different tune, right? That first month of the season was pretty tough, but you win the games that are in front of you, right? You got to have a short-term memory in baseball, basketball, the NFL, regardless of what it is. Got to be able to have a short-term memory. I want to do a roll call real quick before I toss it over to Damien, and then I'll kick it over to Al, and then toss it back up to Ghost, and then Ant. But before we do that, let's do a roll call real quick. Shout out to Maureen in the building. Maureen, how you doing? Maureen, I hope you had a dope trip to Texas. I know the Mets went out there and was whooping some ass. Shout out to Maureen. Shout out to my guy Johnny in the chat. Jacob Petruzzi is in the building. My guy Sean Browning. My favorite person to hate the most in the world, Sunil, is in the building. Sunil, how are you doing, my guy? Salute to you. My friend Sierra Poteet is in the building. Sierra, how you doing? And then my guys over there at Empire State of Baseball, Richie Rivera and the boys. Eddie, you was all with them today. How was that conversation?
It was excellent. I did a little too much cursing, but I was getting in my feelings a little bit. The Atlanta Braves subject came up, so of course that gets my PTSD flaring up, and I can't really control myself that well with the cursing. So
I hope you was nice to my friend Joe. I hope you was nice to my friend Joe Puglisi over there, the only Met fan that I love more than my mother.
People, all those guys are good guys doing good things too.
Yeah, Dame, I'll toss it over to you to get your take on what Eddie just said and kick it over to our favorite Theo, Mr. Al Centron. And to everybody that's in the building, we got over 200 people rocking with us. Smack the like button, hit the subscribe button, smack it the likey for the boys as we continue the conversation. Go ahead, Dame.
Listen, man, the Mets have been on a roll. What can you say, man? 15-6. You can't hate on it, right? So are they going to disappoint at the very end? That's it's there to see. We don't know yet. But they're doing their thing right now. Obviously, Edwin Diaz had a little sticky situation. We all know that. Yeah. But besides that, I mean, listen, they're doing their thing. Coming into the Subway Series. Soto's coming into Citi Field. Going to show the Mets what they'll never get. And
don't tease them now. Don't tease them.
At the end of the day, we're facing Peterson and Minaya, 2 guys. Peterson's a good strikeout guy, but Yankees could definitely get to him. They're having an issue with lefties, but we'll see what happens. And Minaya is Minaya, so you never know what you're gonna get out of him. But it should be a good series, and here we go.
Yeah, definitely. Theo, Al, let's get your take on the conversation and of Edwin Diaz's sticky situation.
Well, before the Edwin Diaz stuff, Eddie, what I tell you, if the Mets went on a 15-5 run, would you believe again?
Listen, I'm not. Don't call me a believer yet.
I said 15-5, right? 15-6 they are right now.
You did say it.
Yeah, so I nailed
that, by the way.
Yeah, so I nailed that one. No, but the thing with Edwin Diaz is, we were talking about it before the show, is MLB's bunch of assholes. It's a judgment call. This is why Major League Baseball's fallen behind in popularity of the NFL and the NBA. It's a joke. For the carnival baseball in the 10th inning, you can only throw to first base twice. It's not real fucking baseball. It's carnival baseball. But as far as the Mets and Yankees series go, Edwin Diaz, I should say, it's going to suck having him. He's suspended 10 days or 10 games. What is it, days or games?
10 games.
All right, so he's probably going to miss, in actuality, 5 games, 5 to 6, because he would come in to save games, 5 to 6. The Mets have to play 500 again during those 10 games with him out. The Subway Series, hopefully we get a split. You know the way it goes, Yankees-Mets. It always happens. Usually, most of the time, it's even-Steven. And I wouldn't say the schedule was easy coming up with the Nationals are playing good baseball. The Pirates are an annoying team playing good baseball. The Rockies are easy. I would say that one is. But this is a chance for the Mets to separate themselves from those mid-teams to show that they're not just a mid-team, that they're legit teams. Sterling Marte's out. He's on the DL, I should say, once again. You knew that was coming. We'll see what they put out there. The team is playing well. The energy's up, except for Jeff McNeil. He sucks fucking ball sack. And, Nemo's playing better. Nemo stepped up his game. I called out for him. I called him out. He's playing well. Alvarez obviously makes a difference for this team with the pitching staff. They've all said it from the jump. You can see it. You can just see it. The confidence is there. And, again, I thought Citi Field would be 80-20 the way the Mets were playing a month ago. I thought it'd be a Yankee fan invasion, and now I think it'll be more closer to 60-40, 70-30. Met fans.
Wow.
Yeah. Al, one thing I've always said whenever you and I had conversations when baseball comes up is I want both teams to be good. Right. I think in New York City, when both the Mets and the Yankees, when they're both good at the same time, it just makes baseball so much better. There was a golden age in New York City when you had 3 baseball teams. Right. That was when Jerry was 15 years old selling lemonade on the side of the road. But Jerry lived through that. Jerry lived through that time when the golden age of baseball was the Yankees, was the Dodgers, and was the New York Giants as well. Right. Ghost, I'll toss it over to you. To get your take on the conversation, and of course the Edwin Diaz stuff. Where's your brother? I want to talk to your brother because Ghost's brother is a Mets fan, and we was having a conversation about Garrett Cole and the sticky substance. And now that Edwin Diaz gets caught with sticky substance, the other Ghost just disappeared. My fault. Go ahead, bro.
I spoke to him today, and I told him to come through. And I don't know if he'll make an appearance or not, but we shall see. But who would have thought? Who would have thought it only took a McDonald's mascot for the Mets to start winning? Who would have thought? Now y'all better start going to McDonald's every single day, getting yourself a Whopper, getting yourself a shake, whatever you got to get from over there. Get yourself something nice to go over there and get some wins more over there. I'm only kidding. A
Whopper's Burger King. A Whopper's Burger King
is the other fast food chain. You took out the Big Mac. Go.
I haven't been to a fast food restaurant in a little while. I apologize. But to the point, I think it's cool to see them getting back up again, 15-6. They haven't really lost many games, one more than they lost. And to see them really go out and connect like that, and to see the wins and the pitching go out great and the offense doing well, that's awesome. Like I said, I've not hated the Mets like a lot of others have, and they want to put them on fire for whatever reason. But the situation with Edwin Diaz kind of sucked because I did like Edwin Diaz and I still like Edwin Diaz. So hopefully that situation gets sorted and fixed. Honestly, man, I hope they keep it up. Honestly, I want them to do well in their division. I want them to succeed. I want them to win. I always wanted to see a Yankee Mets World Series. I know that's a stretch, but it may happen one day. So who knows? But it's awesome to see that they're doing well.
If you're around 2000,
I just want to say, I just got a follow from Oswaldo Cabrera. Shout out to my guy Oswaldo Cabrera for just following me on Instagram.
Let's go.
Shout out to my guy Waldo.
buddies,
Anywho, my
buddies.
fault. I'm sorry. And I'll toss it over to you to get your take on the conversation, and then afterwards we're gonna kick it over to Big Time Jerry and TC. Go ahead, Ant.
I will say this. I do go to McDonald's after the Mets score 5 runs because you get free fries. So I do take advantage of that little promo that they have there.
There
But
you go.
look, the Mets have an opportunity here in the next month. They will play only one team over 500, and that's the Yankees twice. In that month, I need to see them be at least 5 games over 500. By the end of that whole month, they better be 5 games over 500 if they want to be taken seriously here. And they have a lot of adversity to face here. They're going to be without Edwin Diaz for the next 10 days. They're going to be without Starling Marte for the next 15 days as he's dealing with his knee issue. So the Mets have a lot of work to get done, but they've been through this throughout the whole year, whether it was their star players not living up to expectations, whether the starting pitching was not going deep into games, whether the bullpen was tired and exhausted. They have gone through it all this season and have somehow only are 2 games under 500. Next step, get to 500. And then by the end of this run here, be 5 games over 500. And then we'll have a lot to talk about.
Solid points. TC and Big Time Jerry, I'll kick it over to you. And then I'm going to switch gears and give my take. And I'll throw it over to Al and Eddie to lead the conversation on the next topic. Go ahead, TC.
Go
ahead.
Well, I mean, anytime the Mets and Yankees get together, it's a good series. So whether we're doing good, they're doing good, either way, it's going to be a good series. I mean, it brings out the best fans. I mean, it's going to be loud. So, Edwin Diaz, that being out, that hurts the Mets a little bit. But I mean, games should be close. I mean, the Yankees are in a funk right now. They are in a real funk. Their pitching has fallen apart. Their hitting took some injuries. Stanton out now, and Rizzo's been out. But, hopefully these guys can step up. Ben Rice and maybe, Verdugo can, turn it around, and Volpe can contribute a little bit more. You can't always rely on Judge and Soto. But, it's going to be a good series, and I'm looking forward to it.
Jerry, go ahead, Jerry. Let's get your take.
I'm disappointed in DJ. He used to be La Machine. Now he's
La Ground Out.
DJ La Ground Out. He's now.
Yeah.
So they're in a funk. The relief staff.
Oh, the bullpen.
They miss bats.
They don't miss bats.
Or they don't miss bats, I should say. I don't know what happened to this team. It went into shambles in a matter of a couple of weeks. Everything was going well. Then the injuries come. Big G, he's lasted this long, which is remarkable. He's got 18 home runs. You can't ask too much more from him. And because he didn't play the outfield, that's what preserved his time.
There you go.
But when you go ahead, Jerry. No, go ahead, Jerry.
Go ahead,
Go ahead, Jerry.
As far as Luis Hale, he looked exhausted. He was pushing the ball, not throwing it, pushing it. And so now, if he goes into the bullpen, it might be to our advantage, right? Because it give him some rest time. They'll probably pitch him 1 inning, and that'll save his career.
Yeah, there's still a lot of question marks still on this team, and I was having this conversation. I think Ghost and I we were talking about it on June 21st. Even though the New York Yankees have the best record in the American League, this team is not complete. Right, we got issues at second base, first base, catcher, and third base. But when you look at the team in Queens, the Mets, you guys are playing. Whoa, what happened?
Boo-hoo, we got first, second, catcher, third base. Give me a break to cry, baby. You guys have Juan Soto and Aaron Judge on your team. Come on, stop it. Stop
Okay,
it.
that's not enough.
Players.
What the fuck is happening?
The 2 of the best players in like top 5 players.
Yeah, but
you guys have Jeff McNeil.
Yeah, he sucks.
But hold on, wait. I'm talking about the question marks that our team has. Second base is a problem with Gleyber Torres and his defense.
Yeah.
Anthony Rizzo in the middle of the season having to be put on the IL for the next 2 months with a fractured arm. That's a big problem. The way Jose Trevino cannot throw anybody out going to second base or third base, that's a problem. And like Jerry brought up, you got DJ LeMahieu making all this money. He's a shell of his former self. So yeah, even though we have the best record in the American League, even though Juan Soto and Aaron Judge are performing at an all-time level, we still have problems. And when October comes around, if we're going to rely on Gleyber Torres as our second baseman or DJ LeMahieu being our third, we went out there and we signed JD Davis, bro. That's not showing you we have a fucking problem.
We're getting
That's not
desperate.
showing you we have an issue. Al, go ahead. I wanted to talk about JD Davis, but Al rained on my parade. Go ahead, Al.
My favorite Met of all time, JD Davis. Just don't get it done in the clutch. That's what JD stands for. Just don't get it done. And then we saw him in Flushing. The ladies love him, but he absolutely sucks. So good luck with him. He couldn't play in Oakland, so it makes things he's gonna be able to play in the Bronx. But listen, I've been saying on the air for weeks, and Yankee fans thought I was being a hater. I said the same thing as you, Heck. The lineup is top heavy. And with the Yankees, it's 6, 7, 8, 9 that I'm worried about. And with the starting rotation, it wasn't the first half of the season. Can it sustain it in the second half of the season? What I didn't see coming with the Yankees was the bullpen. They had a strong bullpen last year, despite not making the playoffs. And their bullpen right now is also in shambles. So yes, they are a mess.
Bad.
Yeah, and even with the way the pitching staff has been pitching, they've done a tremendous job in the absence of Garrett Cole. I don't think there's anybody that's going to say that pitching staff didn't step up in his absence. Stroman,
he's been awesome. Stroman,
Stroman's been awesome. Rodon's been awesome.
Nestor.
Luis Hill, even Nasty Nestor, Clark Schmidt before the injury. But injuries are a part of the game, just like Giancarlo Stanton. Giancarlo Stanton was our fourth best hitter behind Stanton, behind Judge, Soto, and Volpe. Stanton was our fourth best hitter, and now Stanton's going to be gone for the next month, maybe even longer than that. So the Yankees, they do have some issues that they need to be addressed at the trade deadline. Go ahead, Eddie. I'll toss it over to you with your favorite. I think JD Davis has a better WAR than David Wright. Isn't that right, Eddie?
Probably. David Wright was, a huge PED user, so he's a huge PED cheat. You want to go look at pictures of David Wright from 2006 and look at a picture of him now, and you could definitely see the guy was cheating his brains out. So,
talk about know when to take you serious.
David Wright was a huge PED cheat, but look, we're not talking about old Mets and all these old losers, all right? I don't want to talk about them. It's time to talk about this team. Finally, Al's fucking, Al's like demigod, Francisco Lindor's finally woken up and is finally earning, half of that paycheck at least. He's finally.
I was never concerned.
Nimmo's finally earning it. So look, and even Pete Alonso, he's come around, and the bottom of our lineup is even doing well. We have Bader getting on base. He had 2 doubles the other day. Fucking Jeff McNeil is the only guy that sucks. Other than that, right now this team is really good. As far as the Marte injury goes, bro, we got to go out and get a Rosarena. We need to get a Rosarena right here, right now. Go get the guy. He is for the taking, and he's a winner. And you put that guy in this lineup, having a bad year, he's going to turn around. That guy's a winner, man. That's the guy I won here, and I don't give a fuck if we're 2 games under. I'll go out and buy that guy because he's in the last year of his deal. And if he plays well for us down the stretch, maybe we make a playoffs. What's there to lose?
When you look at this upcoming month, and I'll kick it over to Ann, and then I'll toss it back over to Dame, Ghost, and TC. But when you look at this upcoming month, the New York Mets, they already have 2 teams that they face that are over 500, and that's at the end of the month of July, right? Your last series is against Minnesota, and I think the other team is it's Minnesota in July, and it's the Braves. Atlanta. Those are the only 2 teams that the Mets face next month that's over 500. So when you look at you guys getting hot at the moment, and when you look at the schedule favoring you guys right now, my only question to you Met fans, and I'll kick it over to you, is this sustainable? What we're seeing right now from the New York Mets with Francisco Alvarez coming back and impacting the lineup, with JD Martinez being a professional hitter. Finally, Pete Alonso has protection behind him when you look to JD Martinez. And you and I, we talked about it earlier, but is this success sustainable in the next month, especially with the schedule being favorable to y'all?
I think it is sustainable if they can avoid a big loss. We've seen it way too many times this season where the Mets lose, a big game, and it certainly affects them to a point where then they go on a losing streak. They have to avoid any of those big time, blowing the game type losses to, I think, stay sustainable. And they're going to have to show it because, like you said, you look at the schedule and it does favor the Mets, but can they take themselves to the next level? They got a professional hitter, like you mentioned, in JD Martinez, someone that they didn't have last season or in seasons past. You got a guy that's always studying the game. He's taken Mark Vientos under his wing. Mark Vientos is hitting better. You got Francisco Alvarez back, which I think the Mets are maybe 18 or 19-3 with him in the lineup. You look at how much better he's made Jose Quintana. You look at how he Luis Severino pitched under him on Sunday. Everyone seems to play better when Francisco Alvarez is in the lineup. He brings a different sort of energy. You now have Francisco Lindor solidifying the leadoff spot. He's got like 4 stolen bases over the last 2 weeks. I mean, he's working the walks. He's getting on base. He's getting the hits. He's hitting home runs. Brandon Nimmo right there with him as well. The only one that really needs to get going is Pete Alonso. I mean, he hasn't been hitting bad, but he hasn't been the Pete Alonso we've seen in the past. So I'd like to see more of that from him. And I would, consider starting Jose Iglesias a lot more now than I would Jeff McNeil. I think it's time to make that switch. They pushed Jeff McNeil with having him platoon with Jose Iglesias, and it's not working. So let Jose Iglesias get more of the playing time. He brings more energy to the team. You see when they hit a home run, they play his song. That's another thing that has been happening in the clubhouse. So let Jose Iglesias get more time in the lineup. I don't know what they're going to do when it comes to Starling Marte if he has to hit the IL. I assume Tyrone Taylor's going to get more playing time. And I also would assume that this is the last stand for a guy like DJ Stewart because he has an option. It's time to bring someone else with a little more pop, a little more, fire in him because I don't know. I'm just not seeing it from DJ Stewart right now. But I do think that this team can have this sustainability if they can avoid any of the pitfalls that have gotten them in the past and have put them at this, 37 and 39 part right now in the team. Look, when the team gets down so low where they're 10 games under 500, they can get back to 500, but the thing is sustaining it because they'll be tired just getting to that point. Yeah. So I wanted the Mets to avoid doing that.
Yeah, we got over 330 people rocking with us right now. If you guys can, click the link in bio, jump on over to YouTube, smack that like button, and hit the subscribe button. Also, if you're in the chat right now, interact with the emojis that's on the side of the chat, smack the heart, hit the smiley face, because for some reason, YouTube wants to be the new TikTok. So engage with the emojis and help pushes the live out to other Mets and Yankee fans to get them in on the conversation. Dame, I'm going to kick it over to you. You've heard the conversation. The Met guys was talking about the Mets and their schedule. When you look at the New York Yankees, their schedule upcoming is not as favorable like the New York Mets is. The New York Yankees, we face 3 teams next month that are over 500. 4 series are against teams over 500. We face the Red Sox twice. We got the Baltimore Orioles. And I think the last team we have on our schedule is, the Philadelphia Phillies. The Eddie's second favorite team is the Phillies. So that's the team we're facing.
No, I hate the fucking Braves the most. All right, get that straight. Fuck that. Fucking Braves.
I just love when Eddie. They lost tonight, Eddie. So be happy, okay? Shout out to chat, my guy.
Win 100 games, those cocksuckers.
My guy NFE is in the building. Shout out to NFE. Shea Parking Lot Gaming Room Dad is in the building. Shout out to you. Salute. 3
Kevin Pillar, get lost. Out of here. Kevin Pillar. We had that guy like 3 years ago.
I'll toss it over to you to get your take on the Yankees schedule. And do you think the Yankees can bounce back after the 3 series that we've lost in a row, bro? What do you think it is?
Man, we're gonna have to heavily rely on the pitching staff. The starting pitching staff, because this offense is abysmal. Besides Judge and Soto, who do you look at? You got Gleyber, who can't get his head out his ass. You got the rest of the order who's doing absolutely nothing. Big G is out now.
Right.
that's a huge blow for anybody that doesn't think Big G's a huge blow. I mean, the guy was on a 9-game hitting streak, hitting, well over 300. He was hitting for average, hitting for power. That's a huge blow to this squad. So, Casper's got to get to work, and he's got to get to work now and much before the trade deadline. So go after the Luis Renjifos of the world. JD Davises of the world are not going to really make a difference. And I think we all know that on this panel. So at the end of the day, Cashman, listen, you say that we're pretty fucking good. Well, let's see how good you are, because right now, right here, this is when you're going to start to earn it. This series against the Mets, obviously it's a winnable series. The Mets and Yankees always play each other hard, so I see a split. But when you're looking at Philly, that's going to be a rough one, as we all know. Thank God that, God forbid, the Yankees got me cheering for Houston. All right. And thank God for Houston that they went ahead and swept Baltimore. So otherwise we wouldn't be in first place right now.
We
So
would have been down looking up.
Absolutely. Exactly. Now the bullpen, I'm not worried about the bullpen. I'm not worried about. Cashman's always had a knack for finding bullpen arms. Why Yoendis Gomez was not on the team to begin with is beyond me. The kid should have made it out of the spring. Yeah. I don't know why. But they have arms. Jack Neely, he should be up. We're wasting our time with some of these guys who, let's face it, Jason Shreve, what are we doing? Jesus Christ. So, go out there, look for the Tanner Scotts. Yeah, look for the Narnies of the world. Let Matt Blake do his thing. And listen, the Yankees got to get to work. Otherwise, it's going to be a sinking ship, and it's going to remind me of 22 when we got off to that great start, and then we just fell flat on our faces. So,
Damian, don't be swearing. Don't be swearing, Damian.
That's Eddie's job. Only Eddie.
I'm sorry,
right, Damian?
I'm just, Casper's, the team's got me so upset. And listen. They brought up Peraza, for the one day. I said it on the show.
For what?
Exactly. I said it on the show the other day. Even if Peraza became a full-time, you're really putting in the same player like Gleyber, because they're both mentally weak. So, he had every chance in the world to do his thing while he's in AAA. Did nothing with it, hitting 180-something. So there's a lot of problems with the Yankees. It looked really shiny and beautiful when all things are going great, right? But as soon as a few pieces go wrong, as soon as a few pieces start to get hurt, this is what we have. It's a reborn of 22. We got two, and the only difference is they got Juan Soto. And ever since Soto got hurt, listen, he's not the same player. Let's call a spade a spade. The power's not there. He's hitting for average, right? Yes. He's still getting his walks, yes. But the power has not been there. He's got one home run since that time he got hurt, which was in Boston. And ever since then, the power has been gone. So I don't know if he's still dealing with it. I'm not putting any of this on Soto. He's still one of the greatest players in the league. And the Mets will never have him. But, I had to throw a little jab out. But at the end of the day, the Yankees really got to get together.
It's hard to win many games when Juan Soto is hitting .212. He has 7 hits and 1 home run, only 3 RBIs over his last 10 games. Yes.
Oh, come here, you have Juan Soto. Get out of here. Over his last 10 games.
Hector, let me add something to the offense, because I have the stats here for the Yankees.
Go ahead, Anthony, because you're the only person that I like tonight. Go ahead.
Over the last 15 days, Giancarlo Stanton was the best hitter that the Yankees had, batting .378, 3 home runs, 9 RBIs. Second to that, Aaron Judge, 4 home runs, 11 RBIs, but he's batting .268. Everyone outside of that is batting under .250, outside of Trent Grisham, who doesn't play a lot, and Ben Rice, who just got up here. So the Yankees are really going to have to get this right without Giancarlo Stanton for the next 4 weeks. I will give this, though, to the Yankees offense. They are going up against a couple of Mets pitchers that do give up a lot of runs. I don't have that much faith in David Peterson with a type of shutout game. And Sean Manaea has just been an enigma where he can give up 6 or 7 runs, but then he'll strike out 10 batters at the same time. So I don't know. I think that the pitching matchup favors the Yankees because you got Garrett Cole and Luis Gil going up. So just a little to throw that in there as well.
No, I appreciate you, Ant, because Eddie Presti is Eddie, and this is the conversation we had in that meeting earlier. Ghost, I'll toss it over to you, Ghost. Let's get your take on the offense and what Anthony just brought out, which was amazing stats. Always appreciate you, Ant. Go ahead, Ghost.
Yeah, I agree. This Yankee lineup is bad. It's not been well. It's not been connecting as you would expect. Now, we could say this like we said last few months ago, when the pitching was doing awful and the hitting was doing great, and then the month after that the pitching was doing great, then the offense was doing horrendous. But then now we're getting back to that cycle of the offense is having some struggles and the pitching started having some struggles as well against Boston, against Baltimore. And obviously it hurts my soul to see the guys that we see are pitching excellently, including Luis Gil, who got beat up not once but twice, and then Carlos Rodon, who was having a comeback season, get beat up that badly as well. And obviously, I don't want to scream from the mountains and lose my mind because we only lost 4 games, including the ones against Atlanta as well that I'm including. But at the same time, I've said this before, and I said this in many spaces, and Hector can attest to this. I'm not going to panic because I know who this team is. This is the New York Yankees. Up and down, these guys can produce an offense that is so immaculate and insane that it blows my mind. Because at times, these guys can get up to the plate and crush any pitcher, any opposing pitcher, and destroy them. But then even the opposing pitchers we faced that are just awful, and those that we don't even know, they destroy the Yankees like it's up and down. And I'm just sitting here in disbelief. Now, a lot of questions could be said about the infield, including with Gleyber, including with DJ. I'm not going to put any pressure on Ben Rice. He's a young kid. He's coming out here hot. I'm not going to throw a stone, a rock, a shovel at him for nothing because he is doing what he can at first base, and I want him at first base because he's doing a heck of a lot better than DJ there. And, of course, I'm very sad about what happened with, obviously, Anthony Rizzo getting hurt. And, obviously, with Giancarlo Stanton as well. I love Big G. Seeing him get hurt breaks my heart too because he was having such a great season. He was on pace for 30-plus home runs. The guy was doing some immaculate things with the baseball bat. But to see him get hurt again, he's a lot of the times health has destroyed him. He's made out of glass. He can never stay healthy. It's unfortunate. Right. It breaks my heart. As another great player that we've seen, as you just said, as you brought up the numbers, he has been red hot. And to see him get down and beat up like that breaks my heart too. And then at third base is a very, up in the air thing because DJ was the guy that was there and Oswaldo was hot at first and then he was slumping a little bit. Then he comes back and the glove is there and the at-bats are there because he has been consistent at the plate as well. He has been hitting, he's had gotten on base, and he has had some great moments at third base with the glove. So I would rather see him there for right now. I don't know why we got JD Davis. It still blows my mind. I don't even know what came over Cashman's head to even think about picking up a JD Davis other than he's probably going to play third or whatever other position because I don't think they're going to move Gleyber out of second for nothing unless some miraculous reason has to come about that Gleyber's having the most awful time of the year, which he really is. And it sucks because we expect so much out of Gleyber. He's such a great bat. He's young. He's got a solid glove, but at times, as you can see, he had errors. He's had swing and misses. He's had some very awful at-bats, and you can see that. And it really is just a lot of what-ifs with this team. A lot of times there's a lot of holes. My biggest concern was the bullpen because the bullpen was just atrocious a little bit as well with the Fergusons. And then obviously as well with having the injuries of Jonathan Loaizica as well, who got hurt early into the season. And a lot of the things I was concerned with is how strong can this bullpen hold? They've been gotten beaten up. Oh, yeah. So it's like the Yankees are trying to pick up pieces to really relieve that wound. Yohandry should have been in that bullpen from the start. I don't know what possessed them not to bring him up. And another thing with Ronnie is I don't even know why they brought Ronnie down. It wasn't his fault. And I think that was a very dumb move by them by putting Ronnie down as AAA when he should have stood in that rotation with the bullpen. He could have adjusted. He could have done better. They could have helped him. But again, it is what it is. And obviously with the offense, I believe in this offense. I believe this offense can click again and they can move. So I'm not too concerned by that. But I hope that this doesn't last forever because obviously Juan Soto even said it himself. We're not always going to have perfect days. We're going to struggle. We're going to have some bad days. We're going to end up getting our faces kicked in. It's going to happen. We're not perfect. So we're going to have to do what we can and keep pushing. So that's really all I can say about that at this point until they can figure it out from there. And then what we do against the Mets and what we do against everyone else after that is going to show what we're going to do as a team.
Solid points. We got over 370 people rocking with us right now. If you're on Twitter, hit the like button. hit the repost or the reshare, whatever it's called, on the Elon Musk machine, formerly known as Twitter. TC and Jerry, I'll kick it over to you. Let's get your take, and then afterwards, we're going to switch it up. I'm going to throw it over to Al and Eddie so they can lead us in a conversation when it comes to trade deadlines and what is their idea for their team and what do they want to do at the trade deadline. Go ahead, TC, and go ahead, big time, Jerry.
Yeah, it's funny. The right about the time we got Cole back, we're looking at, wow, this team's just going to go on a run. We got our best guy, and all of a sudden everybody gets hurt. The whole team just fell apart right when we got Cole back, and it just upsets me that these injuries happen all the time and just constantly, and it was bound to happen with Stanton. Rizzo was unfortunate, but the thing is, everyone else is getting hurt, even in AAA. Dominguez, another time he could have came up and helped us out. He got hurt. We had Caleb Durbin. He could have came up. He gets hurt. Clayton Beater, another guy who would have helped us out, got hurt. And it just unfortunate that it happened all at once. And, Cashman, scraping the barrel with the J.D. Davis. I mean, is he trying to make up for his other JD that didn't work out? Josh Donaldson. I mean, is this like a retread? We like JD guys. I mean, I don't understand. Doesn't make any sense. I mean, who knows? But when these guys, when Judge was out a couple weeks ago, when he was out, they went to small ball, and that's what I want to see them do. They're going to have to alternate their offense. Right. They're going to have to find other ways to score because now Big G's out. They're not going to have home run power after Judge. So they're going to have to find other ways to score. And I know they can do it because I saw a game. They pick and choose a game here and a game there to change up their offense. Why not stay consistent? Try to do that more often. So it's unfortunate. Everybody gets hurt at once, but the pitching all of a sudden seems like it hit the wall. Yeah. So they got to step it up. And some of these, next man up. These guys got to, Volpe got to pick it up. Verdugo, you got to pick it up. DJ, I don't know if we can count on him anymore. But these other guys, Glaber, you got to stop with the leg kick. Someone's got to tell him. I don't know what's going on. He's got to stop. But these other guys got to step up, man.
Yeah, Jerry, let's get your thoughts real quick. Go ahead, Jerry.
Mama said there'd be days like this. You remember that song? Mama said there'll be days like that.
I don't know if they know that.
Anyway, on national TV, the night they played the Red Sox, that was our doom. Alex Cora had our number.
Oh, the stolen bases?
Trevi killed us. 9 stolen bases, a record going way back.
Exposed.
He was exposed, and everybody's doing it to them now. They're road runners. We knew Baltimore was going to do the same thing. And so now, what are they going to do with Trevi? Are they going to bring Augustine up? He's not ready yet, but the guy is a good hitter. He reminds me of Salvatore Perez of the Kansas City Royals, built the same way. And Perez is a very good hitter.
Yeah,
still is today. He plays first base, but he's still a good hitter. On the account of J.D. Davis, they'll probably use him at first base, alternating with Rice, and have him play third too.
Good luck with that.
I know. Good luck. I'm crossing my fingers and toes on that. Yeah.
No, I personally, and this is how I'm looking at it, right? I know a lot of Yankee fans were upset when Peraza was called up and then he was sent down. You guys got to understand, and Ghost and I was talking about this. When Peraza was called up, we didn't make the trade for J.D. Davis. So when we made the trade for J.D. Davis, somebody had to get sent down, and unfortunately, it was Peraza. When it comes to J.D. Davis, I don't think he's going to be playing that much of third or that much of first base. He's here to be a DH because Giancarlo Stanton is injured. If he has to spot a couple of days at third base or first base, cool. Primarily, he will be used as a DH or as a third baseman because whatever you can get out of J.D. Davis at third base is better than what you're getting out of DJ LeMahieu, who has yet to have an extra base hit since coming back. And I think the one guy that most Yankee fans aren't talking about right now who is struggling tremendously is Alex Verdugo. Yeah. Alex Verdugo, when he got put into that cleanup spot, He was the difference maker in the lineup. The Yankees took off when he was moved into the cleanup spot.
Agreed.
But over his last 10 games, Alex Verdugo, he's only hitting 150. That's not much protection for Aaron Judge and for Juan Soto. Aaron Judge and Juan Soto, they can't be your everything in your lineup. You need everybody else to step up. You need Volpe to step up. Anthony Volpe, his batting average over the last 4 weeks or 3 weeks, it has dropped almost 20 points. He at the beginning of June, he was at 280. He's barely at 260 right now. So Anthony Volpe, he has struggled, right? Alongside Giancarlo Stanton and him going to the IL and him being out over the next 4 weeks. So the Yankees, they do have some issues, right? It's not all rainbows and kitty cats over here with the New York Yankees. But Al, I'm going to kick it over to my favorite Theo. What is your game plan? We're going to talk trade deadline. It's almost here. It's almost among us. Let us know. Who are you targeting? What is the game plan for the New York Mets? And what's this dude, David Stern? That's the guy who's in charge of you guys? Yeah. I don't trust him with a last name like that. But go ahead, Al. You
What's that? That's sort of strange.
I mentioned it. I mentioned it on the air yesterday that a guy that I would target if Houston's not going to resign him, because that's what it's looking like, is Kyle Tucker. If he's gettable, then you have your right fielder for the next 5 to 7 years minimum. And Costello Marte, he's not it. He's not in the future long-term plans. And again, he's hurt. He's the John Carlos Stanton of the Mets. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of what month it's going to happen. And it happened to be June. Stanton, the thing, I feel bad for him. I was rooting for him before the season started. I said that I was rooting for him to have a big season, and he was having it. And unfortunately, he went down again. He lost the weight and everything, and he still went down. So the guy just can't catch a break. But as trade targets, I mentioned Kyle Tucker. I mentioned another guy, a former Yankee legend, Miguel Andujar. That's another guy you can add to this bench. Tanner Scott, even though we rock him every time, we could use him in the pen for bullpen help. And if he's available, Mason Miller from Oakland, but it's going to take a boatload to get him.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
How about Frenchie?
Eddie, I want to get your take. And just so you know, the reason why I said I don't trust anybody with the last name Stern is because Senator Stern was a Hydra agent in the 2010 Captain America movie Winter Soldier, my guy. So step your game up, Eddie.
What are you talking about, man? I was talking about Captain America. What are you talking about? Look at Mets Yankees. You're bringing up comic books. Come on.
Oh, first of all, we was talking about David Wright earlier, who's Captain America, right? So I bring up the guy's name, David Stern, and the villain's name was Stern, and the Captain.
I didn't
you don't
know
see
that.
The full circle.
Okay.
Go ahead.
You can't beat him in comic strips.
Yeah, I'm not into this comic book crap. But when it comes to the Mets and the trades, look, I think that a lot's going to depend on what Houston does. If Houston starts selling, there's like 5 guys on that team I'd want. I'd take a chance on Bregman. I'd bring him in.
No.
No. Why? Because he's white? Right.
Wait, what? Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Wait.
Al Bregman's a winner, so I'll bring him here in a second.
Wow.
I don't know. Is Altuve on the last year of his deal? I'm not sure.
No, he's signed to resign.
I'm not getting Altuve. I like Booker, and I don't think they're going to trade out. What is his name? Alvarez. That guy.
No way in hell.
No.
Yeah, they won't trade him. So look, like I said, Arozarena. That guy is for the taking. He's having a terrible season. The Rays are going nowhere, and he's going to be a free agent at the end of the year. This is a guy who knows how to win. This is a guy that, he's got crazy numbers in the playoffs. So if the Mets go and make a run and Marte is going to be hurt, Arozarena would be my top target. I think if you bring him in here, he's going to be like Cespedes 2.0. I think we could ride that guy to a wild card berth easily with him because he's going to extend the lineup. And I think if he gets to Queens and he feels that energy in the building, because fucking the Tampa Bay's Rays stubble, that stadium in Tampa Bay is a joke. He's going here and gets that energy. Forget about it. He's going to turn over a new leaf. He's going to start hitting. and the Mets will be dangerous. And I would get him sooner than later. If you could get him now or like in the next few weeks, get him. Bring him in because we got to build up this record. We got to build up this record between now and July 30th. So bring him in.
Go ahead, and I'll
Get
kick
rid
it
of
over to
McNeil
you.
too, by the way.
And I'll give my take real quick before I toss it over to Dame, Ghost, and TC. Go ahead, Ann.
Why get rid of McNeil? Because he's white?
Yes, exactly. Get rid of him. He sucks. He sucks. Al, you know I'm just breaking your balls. Come on.
I know.
Go ahead, Ant.
Look, the Mets are in a phase where they are reshuffling right now. They're not far enough out where they have to completely sell. They're not close enough to completely buy in. So I think there's gonna be a lot of reshuffling. If Francisco Alvarez can continue his projection with Jose Quintana, and Jose Quintana continues to pitch as well as he has, I will sell that in a heartbeat and as quick as possible because he's one of those guys that needs to get out of this rotation. You can even think about doing it with Sean Manaea as well. Luis Severino may be the big get, but I kind of would like to hold on to Luis Severino, honestly. I think he's made to pitch in New York. Mets, Yankees have both seen the best of Luis Severino, so I think that he can continue with the way the Mets have handled him. Let's say the Mets decide to trade Pete Alonso. Maybe he's not a Stearns guy. A move that I would consider is trading with Miami for Tanner Scott and giving up less prospects and taking on the contract, the rest of the, I think it's $16 million that is owed to Josh Bell, and place him at first base for the rest of the season because he's going to be a free agent at the end of the year. The Mets need more relief. You bring in a guy like Tanner Scott, or you even go to, I think it's Anaheim for a guy like Matt Moore, who's been pitching well as of late. The Mets need relief, so that's somewhere where I would go. I don't know. We talked about it earlier, Hector. Huh?
You traded Alonso for Bell?
No. I'm saying if the Mets do decide to trade Alonso, I don't know what it's for or whatever it is. That is a backup plan that I would. Taking on Josh Bell's contract, putting him at first because Mark Vientos is going to stay at third base. Like he's at third for the rest of the season. You leave Brett Beatty down in the minor leagues and let him learn how to play second or whatever it is because he needs more at bats down there. But you got a guy like Josh Bell. The reason I'm getting Josh Bell is to give less prospects away for a guy like Tanner Scott. Who we need in relief. So maybe that guy could be a 1-2 punch alongside of a Edwin Diaz, in the bullpen, go with Reed Garrett and all those guys. But there's really not that many big moves to be made for the Mets, right? Outside of, trading JD Martinez, which I think they're going to hold on to if they continue this run. There's no one else except for Jeff McNeil, and he's not going anywhere, I don't think. Starling Marte, now that he's hurt, he's not going anywhere. So the Mets can basically, get some relief pitching and allow Jose Butto and Christian Scott to be solidified in this rotation for the rest of this season.
Hey, Ant, do you think they'll put Butto or Scott in the bullpen? Same with you, Al. Same question.
I think that Tyler McGill needs to go to the bullpen. I've seen enough.
Yeah,
I've seen absolute enough of Tyler McGill in the rotation. He can't handle it. He can't go past 4 or 5 innings. Every other start is him going short and giving us a bullpen game. Yeah. Just put him in the bullpen already and bring up Butto. He pitched well ever since he got up here. He had one bad start and they send him down. And we get to see, all these bad starts from, Tyler McGill consistently. So put him in the bullpen, bring up Butto. I think Christian Scott's already going to be coming up for this 17-game stretch. So finally having him back, get back to the 6-man rotation and let these kids start pitching.
Solid point. Al, Eddie, that question that Eddie asked. Go ahead, Eddie, ask it again.
Al, would you put Butto or Scott in the bullpen?
Nope.
No.
Simple as that. Nope. I want McGill should be bye-bye. The long man. Drew Smith, that's another guy who sucks ass.
Yes.
I can't stand that fucking guy. Every time he comes in the game, in a close game, he's going to give up a home run. He's the best pitcher in blowouts. If he's in 10-0, beautiful. If it's 2-1, get ready because he's going to give up the ass. Worse than a hook on 42nd Street back in the 80s. So, Christian Scott, don't mess with the kid. Christian Scott, he's a starting pitcher. He's in future plans. Do not mess with him. Unless you're going to use him as trade bait at the deadline, then you keep him in the minors to keep his value up. But Budo deserves to be on his roster. He's a bulldog. The guy has no fear. He throws strikes. He doesn't fuck around. So I have a feeling if Peterson shits the bed this week, tomorrow versus the Yankees, you might see Budo take his spot and be done with Peterson. McGill to the bullpen, and then Christian Scott also be a part of this rotation. Don't forget that Senga is on the verge of coming back after the All-Star break. So somebody's going to have to go.
When I see it. I'll believe
I'm with you, but the talk was that after the All-Star break, I believe when I see it as well, but somebody's going to have to go, and the first one needs to go is fucking Tyler McGill. Go to the bullpen and suck ass.
Yeah.
One thing I want to point out, right, when it comes to the Mets, I have a guy in the Yankee community. His name is Dane Huber. He does an amazing job when it comes to covering not only the Yankee prospects, but prospects overall. All the knowledge that I know about prospects and how to find prospects or what's the best metrics to look at, I got from Dane. So shout out to my guy Dane Huber.
Absolutely.
There's one prospect that I've been looking at for the Mets this entire season, and this is the only prospect that should be a no trade for you guys. It is not Christian Scott, and it's not Jet Williams, and it's not Acuna, anything like that. There is a young 17-year-old shortstop you guys got from the Arizona Diamondbacks when you traded Tommy Pham. Jeremy Rodriguez. The Diamondbacks are stupid for trading this young kid. This kid, he is 12th right now in your organization. I guarantee you by the time the season is over, he will shoot up to a top 5 prospect. Maybe by next year, he will be known as a top 20 prospect in all of Major League Baseball. His ETA, right, is 2027. That means they expect him to make it to the big leagues by the time he is 20 years old. When you look at his grades across the board, you know, is 0 to 70. He is at 55 right now for hitting, which is 5 points better than your average prospect. 45 on your power. Average when it comes to run at 50. His arm strength, they have him at 60, and his fielding is at 50. Overall grade for Jeremy Rodriguez is 45. When he was traded from the Diamondbacks to the Mets, over the span, he hit 422. He was 19 for 25 and 8 extra base hits, 11 walks, and only 4 strikeouts in 13 games. I'm gonna say that again. Only 4 strikeouts and 45 at-bats. So when you look at Jeremy Rodriguez, if there's ever a prospect Met fans should not want to trade, it's Jeremy Rodriguez. He is 6 feet right now. Some people project him to grow an extra couple of 2 inches, so you can see him at 6'2", maybe have to move over to third baseman if his body fills out. But I can say he is your shortstop of the future. He is your franchise player of the future. The Arizona Diamondbacks, this is going to go down as one of the worst trades ever if this kid turns out to be the star that a lot of people think he can be. When the San Diego Padres, when they traded James Shield to the Chicago White Sox, do you guys know, Met guys, do you guys know who the White Sox traded for him?
Tatis.
Fernando Tatis Jr. That's going to be this type of trade. If Jeremy Rodriguez hits, we're going to go back. You know, a nice little Snapple fact Al could use on a fan is the Mets trading Tommy Pham for Jeremy Rodriguez. That's the one thing I just want to say. He is a prospect that I think you guys should keep a lookout, and I think he could be something special over the next few years. Dame, I want to toss it over to you. We're going to talk about the Yankees. We'll talk about the trade deadline. Where do you want this team to go? After the Yankee guys go, we're going to close it out with one last topic, everybody's favorite Subway Series moment. And, of course, I'll kick it over to the Met guys first. But, Damian, let's get your trade deadline.
All
what do you
right.
want this team to do? Go ahead, baby.
I'm gonna make this real quick because my guy's about to come out. But for the Mets' sake, listen, trade Alonso, go after Vladimir Guerrero. He's gonna be available. With that being said, the Yankees, Christian Walker, Luis Rengifo, Tanner Scott, and Andrew Narney. Those are my guys I'm looking at. So other than that, guys, I gotta go. I appreciate it. It's been a blast. It's been a ball. Everybody in the panel, have a great night. Hector, we'll see you tomorrow. Everybody,
Yes,
I'll talk to y'all later.
Dame, you be safe, brother, out there on
Yes,
these
sir.
streets.
Take care
Shout
of
out to
yourself,
my
brother.
guy Dame,
Yeah, Dame.
joining us while he's still at work right now. Shout out to my guy Damian Serrano. Ghost, I'll kick it over to you. Let's get your thoughts for the trade deadline, and then afterwards throw it over to TC and Jerry, and then we'll circle back with our last topic. Go ahead, Ghost.
I say it's bullpen. Really, we really need a strong strikeout left-hander because we've mentioned this before in many spaces, Hector. It's really just getting that solid strikeout pitcher in the bullpen because we don't have one. We have a lot of guys that are just coming in for a few innings, getting a few more ground outs, more like ground ball plays instead of strikeout plays, which most of them kind of do. Like Luke Weaver's been doing that for us a little bit, and as well as Ferguson a little bit as well. It kind of came back around as well. So we could use a left-hander in the bullpen. And as far as for the Mets side, I mean, if they could pull off any kind of trade to get maybe an outfielder or even a first baseman, if they get rid of Pete Alonso and mention like a guy like Vladimir Guerrero, that'd be huge to see him go over there on the other side. But again, that might cost a little bit. Depends on who it is, and as well with mentioning the bullpen for their side on a Mason Miller, that's another expensive one that's going to cost them if they're going to go after him as well. So I don't know. And then obviously, I just think it's really just that, Hector. I think it's really just the bullpen for us. I think our starting pitching will be fine as long as they can figure it out during the rest of the season and through the All-Star break and kind of get things working around there. I think our starting five will be fine. And then, of course, it's just really our bullpen that's really just needing some issues. Maybe an infielder if possible. Maybe a super utility guy as well that's out there. Maybe that we can trade for that. I can see that as well.
And also, just I see some people in the chat asking about this kid. When the Diamondbacks signs him in the international free agent market, the international signing period, they gave him the highest contract they ever offered to anyone in the international signing period. They were trying to get to a World Series. They was trying to make a deep run, and they thought trading him was good enough for Tommy Pham. Why? I don't know, but I think this kid is going to be special. TC, I'll kick it over to you. Let's get your thoughts, brother. You and Jerry's. What do you want at the trade deadline?
Yeah, we go after bring back Gary Sanchez. We'll bring him back for catcher.
That's a joke. That's a joke.
Yeah, that's a joke. Yeah, we don't want that. No. Yeah, we got a lot of holes. We got a lot of places. I mean, yeah, catcher is a spot, but I think they're gonna run with Austin Wells and Trevino. I don't think they're gonna make a switch there. We need a third baseman. We need someone solid that's every day and a big hitter because losing Rizzo now. I mean, Ben Rice is okay at first, but first and third are power, good hitter positions, and we got nothing right now. No production. We can't just rely again on Soto and Judge, and that's it. We need bullpen help, but I'm not too worried about the bullpen because we got some guys coming back. They'll be back. Hamilton will be back. Hopefully, Efros will be back, and we can see him, and then Hill will move into the bullpen, I believe, and be a good setup guy for Clay Holmes. So, and Cashman always finds the bullpen guys. That's the one thing that he doesn't have a problem with. He always finds those guys. True. I mean, it might be the Bickman or was it Bickford and Gomez coming up. That's huge. I think they're going to help out a lot. But one guy I forgot to mention that was a huge injury. Yeah,
Bickford.
We had him last year.
Yeah, he just came up.
He looked good. But one guy I forgot to mention before.
Hector, you got to take your boy Keith to task, man. Bickford, J.D. Davis. Come on, man.
Yeah, man.
And we gave you Severino and Bader. So what else do you guys want? No, but one guy I forgot to mention before, big injury, Nick Birdie. He could have helped us big time right now with DJ slumping, Cabrera. He would be an everyday guy at third, and his bat was getting hot at the right time. So that was a huge. I mean, that's almost like a Garrett Cole getting a guy back, trade deadline type, pickup, but. Yeah, we got some holes, but I think the offensive side needs it more than the bullpen. But Cashman and Cashman we trust, right, Hector? So
I was just about to say, I know it may be doom and gloom, but personally, me and Brian Cashman, I trust. Brian Bartholomew Cashman is the guy that I trust at the trade deadline to do his magic and get the players that we need. Let me take this off because it's actually hurting my eyes with the glare hitting the laptop. But There's obviously we need a lefty that's better than Caleb Ferguson and Victor Gonzalez to come out the bullpen. Tanner Scott, I think, is the perfect option. Ant, you and I, we was talking about him earlier, just because he pitched in the American League. He may not have to cost as much as some of these other relievers are out there on the market. But then again, you don't know. It's the Miami Marlins. They may try to get back the best return that they can. When it comes to the infield, it's kind of hard because when you look at these teams that are at the bottom of the barrel, right? The Washington Nationals, for instance, right? The Miami Marlins, their options at third base or first base is not the best options in the world, right? So there's not that many options for the Yankees to choose. I brought up Alex Verdugo. This would have been the perfect opportunity for Jason Dominguez to come up, Alex Verdugo to help carry this team. But he's in there. Jason Dominguez is injured. Alex Verdugo, he's struggling at the moment. It's slim pickings. We had to go out there. We got JD Davis.
I got one for you, Heck. I got one for you, Heck.
Let me know.
I got one for you that you since you brought up Miami Marlins. How about a guy I said on yesterday's show need to change the scenery, and that's Jazz Chisholm.
I was talking about him on the last time I was on my show. I said Jazz Chisholm, he would benefit the most from a change of scenery.
And infield.
Yeah,
not just that. You take Jazz,
not outfield.
Away.
Put him at second.
Put him at second base. He's better position. He's a better second baseman than a center fielder. You center fielder. You put him in a lineup with Judge and Soto, and he's at the bottom of the lineup. He's not at the top of the lineup. He'll be a 7th, 8th, or maybe 6th hitter. In that type of situation, he'll be able to thrive. That's a perfect point, Al. Thank you for bringing it up.
I put him ninth. I'd put him ninth because then you have, when the lineup flips, his speed and then Volpe's speed at back to back.
Right.
Oh, we should get him on the Mets, man. I'll take him.
Well, I thought I said the same thing for the Mets second base. I talked about him for second base, but you got it's. Remember, you still got Mauricio coming back next year for the Mets. Acuna's
doesn't have left.
He's arbitration eligible the next 2 years, I believe.
Oh, so he's under control. Okay.
This is one that I want to throw out to you, Met guys, and I know you guys talked about it on the last show, but I want to get your thoughts on it with Ghost and TC here. What about Vladimir Guerrero? He definitely needs a change of scenery. He definitely needs to get out of Toronto. You take him off that turf, him having to play on that turf with his body could lead to his body being fatigued towards the end of the season, could lead to injuries. You get him away for having to play on that turf field, he'd be a way better hitter. What's your thoughts on Vlad?
I heard, as far as Vlad goes, I heard that they're planning to keep him, to build around him, and looking to trade Bo Bichette.
Oh.
And Vlad play third base at all?
No.
Yeah, I know he played third.
He's played third and first. He's played third in his career. He came up as a third baseman. He's more of a first baseman.
He's more of a first baseman.
His defense is too suspect at third base.
Yep.
He has horrible lateral movement going left to right. He has the arm strength to play third base. It's just he doesn't have the accuracy when it comes to being able to get it right on the line, especially when he dives for a ball going towards his right.
Yeah, we had enough of those guys who can't throw to first base and playing Flushing over the years from third base. Thank you.
Listen, I like the idea of Guerrero, but right now I'm going to stick with Pete because right now I think he's going to get hot for us. So I'm not going to make that trade yet.
Real quick, I want to ask you guys, as a Yankee fan, looking at you guys, looking at your organization now, Steve Cohen, David Stern, from the outside looking in, I'm gonna be honest and say David Stern, I think he's done a B+, maybe an A- job, right? Look at what he was given. He was given something that it was washed and repeat. It was different leaders, different chefs in the kitchen. You guys had no prospects. So to see what he has done over the past little time that he's been here, you guys went from having no top 50 prospects to having a couple top 50 prospects, no top 100 prospects to having a couple top 100 prospects. So I want to ask you guys, what is your grade for David Stern? And then I'll let TC and Ghost go to give their grade and then flip it on you guys. Let us know what's your thoughts on Brian Cashman. So Al, Eddie, and whoever wants to go first on David Stern, what grade are you giving Stern?
Yeah, I would give him a B to B+ right now. I mean, 95% of his moves have worked so far. The reason why the Mets are 37 and 39 is the core group was not taking care of their own business. But the guys that he brought in, Sevy, Manaya, they have been pitching to the back of their baseball card. Adrian Hauser got put back into the bullpen, which is his proper role, and he has been pitching very well. Most of the moves that have been done here have worked so far for him. Tyrone Taylor has played well. Look at this. Luis Torrens that they just brought in. He's been playing well as a catcher. And then you see he is not wasting time in making changes, whereas last year we couldn't get rid of Dominic Leone and Trevor Gott. Now those pitches would be gone, and we got a new rotation group of relievers in there. They're not waiting for Brett Beatty to get hot. They put Mark Vientos there, and he's hot, and they're going to keep him there. They brought up Jose Iglesias when Jeff McNeil's not playing well. So they're not wasting any time in making the proper moves when it comes to this roster. And I trust Stearns. I got to see what he does at the trade deadline to fully give him a good grade or a better grade than this. But what I've seen so far leads me to believe that I can trust him, whether it's going into this trade deadline or going into free agency with the money that Steve Cohen provides.
Copy. Eddie, same question going your way. Toss it over to Al.
I'd give Stearns either an B plus, A minus. Like Anthony said, almost every one of his moves has worked out. You look at Bader in center field; he was brought here to play defense. His defense has gotten tremendously better over the last 6 weeks. You look at the bullpen; it's a solid bullpen. These guys have been much better than they were in the past. You look up and down this lineup, JD Martinez, how we got him on the cheap with deferred money. This guy's their best hitter on their team. Without JD Martinez, the Mets aren't making this run. So, you put all this together, to me, Stearns is at least at an A minus, I'm going to say. And if he does something at the deadline and we can make the playoffs, or if we can magically catch the Braves and exercise those demons from 2 years ago, I'm giving this motherfucker an A plus, and I'm giving him like a fucking 10-year contract, because that's like the last thing we have to do is because the Braves are only 11 games over 500. They're nothing special. All right. The only guy that's hitting on the team is the fucking wife beater. All right. So other than that, I know they've been hot, but that's all that they've been doing. We got shitty teams we're facing over the next month. We could put together a team that's over 500 from now until then. We can make a run, all right? The pitching's been good, but we're literally a couple of moves away from getting into that wild card. I know we're probably not going to catch Philly, but we may, if we make the right moves, we might be able to catch the Atlanta Braves, and that would be my dream.
Well, we know what Eddie's dream is, right? Catching the Braves. Fun fact, Eddie. Fun fact, just so you know, on my MLB The Show, my Diamond Dynasty, I have JD Martinez as my cleanup hitter. He's doing well for me. Al, I'll kick it over to you to get your take real quick, and then I'm gonna toss it back over to Ghost TC to give their thoughts on Brian Cashman, and then we're gonna wrap things up. Go ahead, Al.
Well, as far as David Stearns, I would give him a B. Same thing, B plus. I was begging for JD Martinez since 2022. I've said it for a long time. That man would have, if he was in the lineup in 2022, they don't go into that slump in September, and they would still, they would have played on and not just, they would have beaten the Padres. That's how confident I was with him if he was on this team then. But that's the past. He's here now, and he's killing it. He's raking. If you don't play well, you're gone. That's what David Stearns has done. If you're expendable, you're gone. That's it. Obviously you can't dump it. You couldn't dump it. Nemo at the time when he was struggling. You're not gonna. It's not that easy to get rid of guys like that. I want him. This is the one thing I want from him, and I've said it over the weekend. Jose Iglesias has been such a different influence in the clubhouse, and I didn't know he's boys with JD Martinez. It goes back to Detroit. The fact that they embraced his walk-up song as their home run song, and how the young kids have said that he's been a mentor to them, and when they were in the minors with him, and now he's here with the big club. That guy has earned the right to play every fucking day at second base. He has earned it. Jeff McNeil and his pouting fucking diaper-wearing ass has not earned the damn thing. He doesn't deserve to play right now. He deserves to sit on the bench and pout some more. Jose Iglesias has earned the right to play. That's the one thing I want to see him do. His moves at the deadline We'll see what he does. It'll show you what direction he plans on taking with this team. If Pete's gone, that means he's not in the long-term plans. If Pete's still here, then I honestly believe there's a shot that Pete Alonso will be a Met under the right price.
Solid take. Listen, when it comes to Jose Iglesias, I'm going to ask you, Eddie, when was the last time the New York Mets had a professional veteran like Jose Iglesias that young kids can actually lean on and learn from?
I mean, I'm not going to go crazy with the whole Jose Iglesias thing. I get it. Yeah, they're rallying behind the home run thing and everything. But, let's be honest. So Jose Iglesias he's kind of a journeyman. They picked him up after they got rid of Guillorme. They picked him up for a glove. And he's just been taking advantage of his opportunity because Jeff McNeil absolutely is dog shit. So good for Iglesias, but long term, I don't think he's going to be here long term. He might be that.
I don't think he's a long term solution. But the question was, when was the last time you could honestly say the Mets had a veteran leader in that dugout, in that locker room, someone that can shift up or switch up when it comes to the chemistry? When was the last time y'all had that?
Probably
because going back to last year, the conversation's been Pete Alonso and Jeff McNeil, and this person's a cancer, this person's horrible. So when was the last time you guys had an actual veteran leader?
The cancer's always been McNeil.
Go back to it goes back to Beltran. That was the last.
How long ago? But that's what I'm saying. How long? And even for the Yankees, right? When you look at the New York Yankees, yes, Judge has been awesome. Yes, Juan Soto is amazing and stuff like that. But when you look at the leadership, Alex Verdugo, I know he's struggling right now, but the Yankees, it's been a long time since they had someone like Verdugo in that dugout, in that locker room, helping to stir the fan. I mean, it's helping to stir the players up when it comes to getting ready. I want to kick it over to Ghost.
I will say, when Scherzer, DeGrom, and Bassett were here, pitching-wise, they were leaders. They were leaders in the clubhouse.
Sometimes you need a fresh face in the dugout. When you look at guys like that, they have considered leaders like Lindor, Alonso, McNeil, Nimmo. That group, unfortunately, has been a part of a losing culture year in and year out outside of 2022.
Yep.
So to bring in a guy like Jose Iglesias, who's been a part of winning teams, JD Martinez, been a World Series champion. Those are the guys you want to, help, build that relationship with the Lindors and the Nimmos and the Alonsos of the world. So maybe we're seeing that connection taking place right here, right now.
Yeah. Ghost, same question going your way. Let's talk about Brian Cashman, everybody's favorite GM in New York City. Go ahead, Ghost. Let's get your take. Let's get a grade on Cashman. Throw it over to TC and Jerry, and we'll get ready to wrap things up and call it a night. Go ahead, Ghost.
I got to be honest, this is probably the best I've seen Brian Cashman make some moves that I've seen in a long time. And that's an understatement from the past times before that he's done some very idiotic moves. But this time about, I have to give him his credit. He brought in some horses to the wagon for that wagon to go. And I think I have to give him the credit in the world for bringing in a Verdugo and a Juan Soto and many other pieces beforehand with the bullpen. And obviously, I have to give him an A-. He has done a wonderful job by picking up the pieces we needed outside of the pitching and in from the infield and the outfield. He's done a great job. So this is what I'll give him for this time about. So I give him an A- for the work he's done, the players he's brought in, and the help he's brought to this team so far. And yeah, he's done a good job. So I'll give it to him.
TC and Jerry, your favorite person in the world, TC. What's your thoughts on Cashman?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to actually agree with Ghost. I mean, this has been, in recent time, one of the best offseason, that Cashman has had. So just bringing Juan Soto in alone, it gave him an A to me. I mean, it meant we were going for it. Just getting rid of all the pitchers we got and bringing in Juan Soto, that meant, these guys are actually, they want to go for it. And we were screaming for that offseason. And he actually did it. And it shocked me that he actually did it. But, all the other guys like Verdugo, bringing in Verdugo was huge. Marcus Stroman, another, bargain. I mean, it's a bargain because he didn't have to give up a lot of guys to get, Stroman. He took he's really a bar, 14 million a year. I mean, it's or 18. I don't know what it's 17.
Yeah.
Not a big
17,
payroll
18.
for a starting pitcher. So yeah. And even, bringing in John Birdie. I mean, these some of the little key moves. The bullpen pieces really haven't worked out. Victor Gonzalez, Caleb Ferguson, haven't really worked out. But overall, the bench needed work. He didn't really help out our bench. But the key is going to be this trade deadline. So if he doesn't do anything at this deadline, he goes from an A to a C to me. Yeah, this deadline is key in this season. It's huge. So this season, I think it ultimately depends on this trade deadline because of all the injuries and guys that we need. So we'll see what happens. What do you think?
Yeah, bringing in Stroman, Verdugo, and Soto, the biggest fish in the sea there. They got swag, and that's what this team needed. Last year, I wanted a Lynch Cashman. I held the rope. I threw the rope down. But so, like Todd says, he's got to make some more trades now. We can't go with what we got.
Yeah.
DJ not. Go ahead.
I 100% agree with you, Jerry and TC and Ghost. When it comes to Cashman, I'm giving Cashman an A-, right, because of the offseason. But this trade deadline may be one of the biggest, if not the biggest trade deadline Brian Cashman has going to have as the GM or as the president of the New York Yankees. When the Yankees won the championship in 2009, our trade deadline consisted of Jerry Hairston Jr. and Chad fucking Gaudin. Right, this trade deadline, we're going to need more than Chad Gaudin and Jerry Hairston Jr. if the Yankees want to punch their ticket in October. Or go
they didn't
to
have the injuries
Series,
we have.
I got a question for you guys both real quick. So TC and of course Hector, what do you think is going to take us over the hump in the trade deadline? Because you're saying it's going to take a lot. It's going to take a lot from him to get us over the hump with the players. But what is it that you guys believe that is going to take us over the hump in the trade deadline? Because it looks like it's going to take a lot. So I'm going to ask you guys both what it is you believe it is going to take us over that hump to make us a World Series team going off the trade deadline. That's the real question here. That's
Ryan McMahon from the Colorado Rockies to be either our third baseman or our first baseman. That's one move. Second move is Tanner Scott from the Miami Marlins. That's another move.
Yep.
There was a catcher that got DFA'd by the Marlins, Christian Betancourt. I'm not sure if a team signed him yet. If he's still available, I want the New York Yankees to sign Christian Betancourt as a backup catcher, and then the Yankees are going to have to figure out what they're going to do with Austin Wells and Jose Trevino. I think the odd man out is Austin Wells. He may get traded before the trade deadline just so they can have Jose Trevino as the backup catcher, Christian Betancourt as the starting catcher, because his defense behind the plate, he has arm strength is special. When Christian Betancourt, when he was with the San Diego Padres, they wanted him to be a two-way player. They wanted him to be a catcher and a reliever coming out of the bullpen.
Oh, you're muted. You're muted.
Oh, sorry, I get excited. My microphone. I apologize. Christian Betancourt, his bat was never able to justify him being that two-way player that they wanted him to be. So that's why he just primarily just went to just being a full-time catcher. But Christian Betancourt, because of his defense, I wanted to be a catcher. And if we had to go out there and get another reliever, oh God,
Hensley of St. Louis.
I like him. He may cost us some more prospects.
Hefty price for him.
It's gonna be a hefty price for him.
Yeah, he's good, but
Holmes is going to need
Tanner
help.
Scott on the radar. I think just Tanner Scott, because the Yankees have some options internally from the minors that they could use in the bullpen. Right, but Tanner Scott as our lefty, just because we don't have any other lefties that we can call up to come out of the bullpen, and any right-handers would be Uranus Gomez and whoever else we could muster from down there. But Brian Cashman, this trade deadline, he needs to be spot on. If not, if he just folds his hand and doesn't make the moves, he goes from an A- to a B-, in my opinion. I'm gonna still give him a B minus. But
Yeah.
last thing, we're gonna make it fast. Eddie, favorite Subway Series moment. Toss it over to Al, and then Ant, and then toss it over to TC, Ghost, and we're done. Go ahead. Favorite Subway Series moment.
I'm gonna go with the Carlos Delgado game, where I think he had 7 or I don't know, some ridiculous amount of RBIs, 3 homers,
And not 9 RBIs or 10 RBIs.
I was at that game. Nine RBIs.
9
9
RBIs. Yeah,
Wow. He
that
went
that to
crazy.
me was one of the greatest games I've ever seen being played by a Met. So I'm going with that. Carlos Delgado in the 9 RBI game.
Yeah, he hit a home run off Patrick Mahomes' father in that
3
game.
home runs that day, right?
Yeah, 3, 9, and then they went to Shea Stadium and played the second game, and A-Rod hit a home run that's probably still flying over the scoreboard off of Pedro Martinez.
Also in that game with Carlos Delgado, Cliff Floyd, he hit a home run that went to the Grand Concourse, bro. I don't think that shit landed yet.
My favorite Subway Series moment, I was at the game of Randy Johnson versus Jeremy Gonzalez. Rest in peace, Jeremy Gonzalez. Yankees got off to a 5-0 start. Then Beltran cracked the home of Randy Johnson. And then the 9th inning, Mariano Rivera was in, and David Wright hit a walk-off over Johnny Damon's head, and the Mets won. I jumped up and down so much that I broke the seat at Shea Stadium. But yeah, that was my favorite Subway Series moment since I was there for that one. Delgado's the second one, obviously, but that walk-off versus Mariano Rivera, yeah, that was sweet.
Did they ask you to pay for the seat?
Hell no.
I had no clue. Chase
And if they would ask me, they can kiss my Puerto Rican ass.
Go ahead, Ant. Let's get your favorite Subway Series moment, brother.
I got 2 because one, I was there. The other one is just a great moment in general. But 2 days after Al's game, I went to the Sunday night game, packed with both Mets and Yankees fans. I think Yankees were up 2-0. Delgado comes up, hits a 3-run home run. David Wright comes up, back-to-back, hits one out of Shea Stadium, and the Mets went on to win that game. But the best moment to me was in '99, that back-and-forth game on Saturday where the Yankees and Mets were going back and forth. I think Posada hit 2 home runs. O'Neill hit a home run. Piazza hit a monster shot out of Shea Stadium. And then you go to the bottom of the 9th against Mariano Rivera, and Matt Franco had the big game-winning hit. I think that's the best moment for the Mets in Subway Series history.
Nice. TC, Jerry, what's your favorite moment in Subway Series, brother? And shout out to the 410 people rocking with us right now. Go ahead, TC.
I got a good one the Mets fans will remember. 2009, Alex Rodriguez pops up the ball to Luis Castillo and drops the ball, and the Yankees score 2 in the 9th and win. That was classic Mets. Classic Mets.
Yeah, he had a bet with Otani's bookie. That's why.
Yeah. What about Roger Clemens? Roger Clemens with the.
Oh yeah, Roger Clemens throwing the
Mike Piazza.
Piazza threw the bat at Clemens.
Well, the World Series.
Picked it up and threw it back up at the 2000 World Series.
Yeah,
that was bad. If he ever got hit, man, splintered bat. Oh man, hospitalization. That would be.
Yeah, I think Roger Clemens overreacted, and then afterwards he was like, "Holy shit! I can't believe I just fucking did that." Hey, my bad. Goes.
Wait. He said he thought it was the. He said he thought it was the ball. Yeah. Okay.
That makes no sense.
Yeah. Goes. Let's get your favorite Subway Series moment, brother.
Yeah, TC got me. It was the Rodriguez play that he hit the pop off into the air and it drops on the floor and Castillo couldn't figure it out. I saw that game and I was there with my brother and he was furious and he was just like losing his mind. How did we lose? How did this happen? Come on. And I was just laughing because I saw Rodriguez just like he threw his bat into the ground and walked over and first thought he was out. The ball drops and we win the game by 1 run.
Ghost, do you remember him moving his hands? He was
yeah.
He distracted him.
Yeah, everybody likes that one.
Yeah.
Sunil in the chat, he likes that one also. Shout out to John O'Neill, Sunil, Maureen still rocking with us right now. Shout out to you guys. Me personally, don't play it. We're gonna get hit with copyright. Me personally, when that happened, I was working. at Lombardi's Pizza. I was doing the phone, doing delivery orders, and my mom, you guys know, I always bring up my mom, diehard Met fan. She called me right when it was the 9th inning when A-Rod popped it up. He's like, "Oh, A-Rod popped it up," and I just hung up the phone. I was like, "Yeah, whatever." And she literally was calling back, cursing me out when the Mets lost. But no, for me, it was the 2000 World Series. Mike Piazza flying out to Bernie Williams. Not only because it was Yankees Mets, right, but also because that was the first time I was able to fully watch a World Series, because I was young in the late 90s, 97, 98, 99. 2000 was the first one I was able to fully like understand and like watch and like know what's going on. Because when you're younger, you don't know what's really going on and you're just celebrating because you're seeing people on TV or whatever. But 2000, I was able to fully see what was going on, understanding the stats. I was a big fan of Jay Payton. I thought it was a mistake when you guys traded him. I like Jay Payton. I like Melvin Mora, even though he was on the Mets and stuff like that. So for me, that was my favorite moment in post series, Subway Series, World Series, whatever. But folks, it is 11:42. Al, thank you so much. Eddie, thank you so much. Ant, thank you so much. Ghost, Jerry, TC, appreciate all of you guys. Everybody in the chat, appreciate all of you guys. 415 people rocking out with us. You can follow my favorite Theo, my infamous Al, my infamous take, Al Centron. Make sure you tune into WFAN over the weekend. He will be on the air. Al, what's the schedule this week coming up?
Well, I'm not going to be on air this week. Taking a break. I will be back after the 4th of July. I don't have a date right now, but I will be back after the 4th of July.
Copy. And then, of course, my guy, Eddie Presti, who's always holding it down on the Knicks Twitter Spaces, on the Mets Evening Brew as well. Eddie, let the folks know where they can find you, you beautiful, handsome bastard.
At Eddie Presti _ Find me on X, late night. We're going to be talking Knicks tonight, baby.
That's right, baby. Ant Rivera, Subway to Shea, let the people know where they can find you. Mi hermano.
X, TikTok, Instagram at Subway to Shea, Apple Podcast, Spotify, and YouTube for Subway to Shea podcast.
My guy Ghost, mi hermano de la isla, my other brother up here. Thank you so much for rocking out. Let the folks know where they can find you on X, and let them know about your other YouTube endeavors that you do, bro. Plug your stuff. Let them know where they can subscribe to you.
Well, first and foremost, I want to say thank you to all you guys getting to meet Eddie, Al, and of course, Anthony here, man. You guys are amazing. I've heard great things about you, Ed. I've heard great things about you, Anthony. Of course, I've heard great things about you, Al. And of course, TC and your father, Jeremy, man. You guys are awesome. It's awesome to be here with all of you. It was a pleasure. The only thing I wanted to say is thank you. It's really just awesome to get to be here and talk baseball with you guys. Anytime you need me or want to talk baseball, I'm always around. You guys are all awesome. So I'm always around. And if you guys want to holler at me, I'm just on Twitter at ForeverOneGhost. So again, thank you, Hector, for having me on again, as always.
Of course, bro. You're very knowledgeable when it comes to the Yankees. I love chopping it up with you. And of course, me and you, we share. Eddie, don't talk shit. Me and Ghost, we like animes. All right, so go fuck yourself, okay, Eddie? All right, you can kick rocks. TC and Jerry, last words for the people. And we're closing out.
I thank you so much to have us on. I just love you, Hector, and you're still a young man.
Jerry.
God bless all of you guys. God bless all of you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
You as well.
You too.
Appreciate
Yeah, good
you.
to be on with the Mets guys. I mean, I love to chop it up with you guys. You guys have great content.
Yeah.
I'll tune in time to time and give you guys some hell in the chat. But Ghost, good job, Hector. As always, appreciate you having me on. I know my schedule's changed a little bit, so unable to be on the brew is kind of bum me out. But anytime I can hang out with you guys and hang out here, it's awesome. Especially with my dad here. This is very special to us, and it was just awesome. Great show, and we appreciate it so much.
TC, love you, brother. You already know, open door policy. Whenever I'm rocking and you're free, you rocking there with me as well. Shout out to the chat. Like I said, one of the best, if not the best community out there on YouTube and on Instagram and on Facebook and on the Elon Musk machine, formerly known as Twitter. But until next time, make sure you guys stay hydrated. Say something positive about yourself, because we all know Eddie Presti, he kills the cats, he kills the dogs, and he makes little kids cry. Shout out to all you guys.
At least I don't watch anime.
Oh yeah, that's something you got going for you.
There you go.
No, Al, love you. Eddie, love
Yeah.
you. And
All you
always love you,
guys.
All right,
brother.
brother.
Appreciate you guys.
God
Ghost,
bless.
Al. Ghost, TC, Jerry. And until next time, deuces. Peace, Arunos.